Love at first sight, even if you didn't know it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So the first time we met, actually, it was kind of funny. Um, Both of us were sophomores in college. It was back in 1986. We were students in Philadelphia. She went to a school just outside of the city, and me and some of my buddies, we were putting together a program. Actually, it was a conference of black students. And it was called National Black Student Unity Conference. And it was one of the first of that type. And so we had speakers from around the country, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at that time, that was in October, we were having a meeting. And Lisa and some of her friends from the school that she went to, they came to our school, and we were doing some planning. And so she asked, so I was there at the meeting, the building, and I just happened to see her, and she asked me a question, I don't even know what. And I just answered the question, so that was it. I guess that was not no fireworks there, right? So, but then actually a couple of days later, we were actually having the event, and I saw her. As I said, I was one of the people who were putting together, so we got her in, and it was, I think it was a major event, maybe about 600 or 700 people, et cetera. It was the hall was packed. So and she got there at a point where she couldn't get in, so we got her in. Okay, so that was that the first two times, but then fast forward, a year and a half later, in the summer of 1988. At that point, I was actually um, part of a different group of students, and we were putting together. There was a rally that we knew about in D.C., and so we were trying to get some students from Philadelphia to get on the bus and come down to the rally. How many people ever heard of Stokely Carmichael? Yeah, Stokely Carmichael. So he changed his name to Kwame Ture at that point. He was a well-known civil rights icon of the '60s, and he had done a lot of stuff. He from time to time was one of the speakers at different campuses, and we had invited him to our campus a bunch of times. So I happen to know him and some of his people. So as I said, we were getting, and so at that point, his organization that he was in, they actually would have a rally and maybe a march every so often in D.C. And so, as I said, I was getting students who want to come. So that morning, I guess it was in May of '88, on the bus, I got on the bus, and I'm walking down the aisle of the bus. I got my clipboard and whatnot. I'm checking off people, and Lisa's sitting with her friend. Of course, I didn't know. I mean, she just was a person, right? And so she wasn't even on the list, right? And so I said to her, because I thought she was from one of the other schools. I thought she was from LaSalle University. If anyone know LaSalle, and I said, "Are you from LaSalle?" And I guess I was mumbling because she thought I said, "Are you from the South?" so she's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm looking at her like she's crazy. What does she understand about that? Okay, so as I walked by, I guess I just tapped her. Maybe I was just walking. Maybe I don't know, on the shoulder or something, because like you communicate with people, you touch people. I'm a touchy kind of person. She didn't like that. So so I go to sit down in sort of the middle of the back of the bus, and I was sitting with somebody, and all of a sudden she comes back there and hits me. Now, she wants me to not say hit, so I can at least say it was an intentional strike, maybe. I don't know. And so now I'm sitting down like, what is going on with her? What? I mean, something's wrong with her. So okay, so we get to D.C., and so we're at the march and whatnot, and so we put together banners and we going around. And I guess first of all, it was a little bit awkward after I started communicating with Lisa, because I actually, and this is part of the whole serendipity, I actually came with somebody else, right? So I was kind of so now I'm kind of like, okay, who do I divide my attention with? Okay, so but we weren't really dating. I just knew the person, right? So it wasn't like that, So now. We did the march and stuff like that, and we're I guess it's probably at least about 2 hours of stuff. And then there was lunch and stuff like that. And so now on the bus back, now we realize that we kind of like each other, So now and we're talking and communicating. You're talking about, the different kinds of TV shows you watch, the Brady Bunch, whatever, whatever, the shows from the 70s and the 80s, Cosby Show and stuff like that. So now, we kind of realize that we like each other. So then at some point, I invited her out for a date. And so we had our first date, and matter of fact, we went to an Ethiopian restaurant there in Philly. And after the first date, I told her, I don't know why I did this, it's crazy. I said, I'm going to be the best friend you ever had. Wow, and that was true. So serendipity, and the rest is history. So that first meeting was about 35 years ago, I guess. The second meeting was maybe about 33 years ago, and almost 30 years of marriage, 29 years of marriage, three kids later. I actually, after working for 20 years for the Commerce Department, retired, and so she hired me. Now I'm the office manager of Brown Love, if you can believe that. And our cards are in the back. So thanks, Denise. We had a great time. Hope you liked the story.